marketers. Deborah Eckerling here.
And I'm Keith Smith, and we host the MPN Meta Marketing Show, which is not just another marketing podcast, but the marketing podcast about all the other marketing podcasts.
Podcasts are booming, right? We love them, and people actually listen. They don't scroll, they don't swipe. Well, except maybe during the ad breaks.
But here's the secret. With the Marketing Podcast Network, your ads don't make people hit skip. We put your brand on shows that people actually want to hear.
That's right. We match your message with podcasts that make marketing nerds like us perk up and take notes. Or at least nod knowingly, pretending they understand.
And don't worry, because we'll deliver your ad naturally. People might even think that we love your brand personally, which of course we totally do, unless it's a veggie smoothie, then maybe not.
If you want your brand heard without making listeners roll their eyes,
head to marketingpodcasts.net and catch marketing fans at work, rest, and play. Seriously, your audience is already listening. Make sure they hear your brand and not our awkward jokes.
Join the conversation, because good ads shouldn't just be tolerated, they should be enjoyed.
Yes!
Hey, have you heard about Podcast On? This is a global podcast charity event where hosts dedicate one episode to a nonprofit they care about and release it together the same week. No fundraising, no fees, just powerful storytelling for good. Podcast On 2026 runs March 14th to March 20th. Join thousands of podcasters worldwide and use your voice for impact. It's free, it's simple, and it starts at podcasthon.org.
The Marketing Podcast Network is a proud partner of Podcast On.
Hi guys, Heather here. Just a quick programming note. This episode is a little bit longer than our typical episodes because Tami was kind enough to do a numerology reading for me. So you'll get to hear her doing my chart in real time. Hope you enjoy, and I hope it inspires you to get your own reading with Tami. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Your Radiant Spirit, the podcast where art, energy, and inspiration come alive. Hosted by award-winning intuitive painter Heather Eck, synesthetic artist, chakra expert, and spiritual guide, this show invites you to explore the transformative power of color, creativity, and spiritual healing. Heather's unique gift of seeing color through energy fuels her stunning spirit portraits and chakra-aligned artworks, designed to bring healing and alignment to your life. Whether you're curious about the magic of chakras, looking to unlock your creative potential, or eager to connect with your radiant spirit, you're in the right place. Your radiant spirit is calling. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Your Radiant Spirit. I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest, someone who brings a whole new level of depth and magic to understanding who we are and why we're here. Tami LoPresti is a seasoned numerologist with nearly 20 years of experience, and she practices a rare and powerful form of numerology she calls cosmic ascended numerology, a system that goes far beyond basic number meanings and dives deep into your soul's blueprint. Tami's work has a transformative effect on those she reads for. Many clients walk away not only with clarity, but with a visible energetic shift, like something real and lasting clicks into place. Her sessions are known for awakening people to their true nature, activating purpose, and giving practical tools to navigate life with more ease and alignment. I think you're going to love this conversation. It's eye-opening, soulful, and packed with wisdom. So Tami, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here. I was just saying when we were sort of in like the green room, I love numerology, but sort of what I perceive as numerology is different than your cosmic ascended numerology. So can you tell us a bit about that and what led you to develop this?
Yeah. So my mom studied numerology when I was a baby. And when she studied it, she got it from a book and also a mentor. But she's a little bit secretive about it. She doesn't really tell me like exactly where it comes from, and I can't find it myself. So she practiced it my whole life, and it was always really cool. I just always loved watching people come to our house, and I always noticed, I don't know if everyone noticed this, but I always noticed that they came one way and they left another, And it was like they would come to the house and they kind of felt slumped down, like tired, and like life was hard. Like that's how I would describe it now, but I didn't know those words when I was a kid, And then by the time that they would leave, it was like they were full of light again. They were all lit up and they felt like they had purpose again. Um, Now I see that in my own readings every day, but when I used to see that, I was in awe of it. I would always be like, my mom is magical. Like she does something that's magical and I don't know what it is. And I couldn't tell if it was like the numerology or it was the food she was cooking, because my
Maybe
dad
both.
always, yeah, my dad always said that my mom's food was magical. So, but, but either way, I watched it my whole life. And then I, of course, wanted to do it. And so my mom said, well, when you're old enough, I'll teach you. Well, then I was like 18 and she goes, well, you're too immature. You can't do this yet. And then I was in my 20s and she goes, no, you're not ready for this. And she just kept saying that. And then I happened to have like a life crisis when I was 30 and I moved back in with her after breaking up with my fiance and whatever. Moved back in with her for a year and I followed her around with a notebook and I was just like, you're gonna teach this to me now. And she was like, I don't think you're ready for it. I'm like, well, if I'm not ready at 30, I'm never gonna be ready. So I want to learn it now. So she reluctantly taught it to me. Um, and now I understand why, because it's a very sacred practice. And it really is something that profoundly changes people's lives. And if you don't practice it right, you could hurt people. You could mislead them. And she said it's a really great responsibility. And I didn't understand that in the beginning. And I understand that fully now, where you don't want to just give this to anybody because this is like the key to someone's life. And if you interpret it a little different, it could hurt them. It could mess them
Yeah.
up.
Hmm.
So I understand the responsibility now, and I understood it for a long time now. But I mean, like, I understand now why she didn't want to just give it to anybody. And now that's why I'm careful to give it to anybody as well. So the difference between this numerology and any other that I've found is that traditional numerology, all the different kinds that I can find anyway, they tend to be more vague. They tend to be like, they tend to take all of your name or all of your numbers or whatever that they're taking, and they boil them down to one number, and then they say this number equals you. I don't know how one number could equal you because you're so complex and you're so layered. And so I take your numbers and I only use your birthday. I don't do your name. I don't do your time of birth. I just do your birthday because that's the most accurate thing. Um, and I believe that that is like the blueprint of your soul. Like I believe that is the map that you came here with. Okay. And so I take your birthday and I put it in a chart and I tell you what every single number means and then what they mean in combination and then what they equal as goals. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
so it tells you just so much more about your life. It tells you real things. It doesn't just tell you like you're a people pleaser. It will tell you that, but it'll tell you more than that. Like it'll tell you why you're a people pleaser. It'll tell you why you're having trouble in your relationships. It'll tell you how to solve that. And
Wow.
and it really just gets really deep. I don't have a book that I can reference, and I really only had 20 years of knowledge with my mom because well, probably longer than that. She had been practicing it my whole life, so I guess I actually had 30 years when I learned it. But I had whatever she remembered for 30 years because she
Wow.
didn't have a book. So she taught me what she knew, and then as I practiced, so there's this other thing that happens that now I know happens with everyone that practices this work, where you actually open as a channel, like immediately when you start practicing. Like when you learn it and you start practicing it, you are opened as a channel to your spirit guides, and not like weird or anything, like your
Yeah.
eyes don't roll back in your head or anything strange like that. You literally just become an open voice with your spirit guides, and what happens is messages just come right through you. And it happens automatically. It's like you go through like an initiation almost when you first start learning it, where the spirit guides literally ask you, you know, in different ways, are you serious about this? Are you going to do good with this? And it's kind of like you make an agreement to work with them. And then when you do, that channel opens wide up, and you will literally be sitting in a reading with someone, and you're saying words that you're not thinking. You know, you're fully aware of it. You're not like, you don't blank out or anything. It's just that you are now an open channel for divine wisdom, and it comes right through you, right to the person. And everybody I've certified so far has had it happen. So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you actually have a program where you
Yeah.
certify people in this now. So
Mhm.
your mom made you wait until you were 30 to be
30,
certified.
yes.
So how do
Yes.
you know how do you know that somebody's ready for that before you bring them in your programs? Like and
So
how do you sort of when you were talking, it made me think of like a Reiki attunement. It's sort of like an attunement of some kind.
it is.
So
Yeah.
tell us about that program and that process.
So initially I was vetting people, like kind of heavy actually. I was having them fill out a really long questionnaire because I wasn't sure, like, who can I give this to that is not going to misuse it? Like, I wanted to know that they were somebody with a real mission like I have. Like, they really want to help the world. They really want to rise people up. They really don't want to discriminate or treat people differently if they have different belief systems or any of that, you know? So I asked all these questions, and I kind of really put them through it to get them to even be in the program, to let them even pay me money and be in my program. Um, I have since realized that part's not my responsibility, you know?
Okay.
The part that is my responsibility is to teach it. The responsibility of the person learning is to do the right thing with it, you know? That is on them, you know? So I can be the facilitator, I can be the teacher, I can be the channel for it, but once it's yours, and you do with it what you wish, you know?
Yeah.
That took me a long time, you know, so
I
but that's
bet.
where I'm
Yeah.
at now, you know? I do not have a vetting process anymore. They do have to sign a sacred oath, though, because I do want them to take it seriously, and you know pretty immediately that it's sacred work. You can tell right away, you know?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how do you how do you use your version of numerology to work with clients? Like what's your process that you go through?
You mean like if I'm giving a reading?
Yeah, if you're giving a reading.
Yeah. So basically I just ask them their birthday. The reason why we don't use birth times is because my mom said they're rarely recorded accurately. And even if it's 1 minute off, it'll change the entire reading. Like, it'll change what it means. I don't do names because I never learned that. So I don't even know if you can do names. But yeah, so I just take their birthday, like their, you know, month, their day, and their year, and then I put it into a chart, and then uh, okay, this might sound strange, but the numbers start speaking. Okay,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
so numbers, every number has a different vibration. And I somehow know their vibrations. Like, they feel like living, breathing beings to me, just like crystals feel like to me. It feels like I can feel a 1, I can feel a 4, I can feel a 9, you know, like I can feel it before it even talks, because I can tell, I just can tell what's vibrating around you, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so so I start feeling the numbers when I look at them, and then in my head I start asking the numbers in the chart, like, you know, quietly. I don't say it out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
I say, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" You know? And then as they start talking, I also start getting messages from my spirit guides that come through, and they also are talking. And then I also get visions. And so I tell people about the visions as well. But really, what I do mostly is I enter your energy field, and I
Mhm.
just feel who you are and what you're about. And then I look at your numbers, and your numbers start telling me who you are and what you're struggling with. And then we just go from there. And it's always transformative. It's really powerful. And every person that I do it with, okay, I won't say every person, but almost every person, like 99% of people, walk away different. They really do. Like they feel like they have gained a new understanding of their life, and they feel like so I always say a reading is not, I tell them it's not really a psychic reading. Even though I am a psychic at this point, I can admit that. I used to say I'm very intuitive, but no, I'm definitely a psychic. But it's not really a psychic event. It's really a remembering. Like you made this plan. You decided on what you were going to do, and you decided on the goals that you would have, the gifts you would bring to help you, the obstacles that would get in your way to help you get into those gifts. You decided that, but then after you decided that, you put a veil on, or someone put a veil on you. I don't know, but you have a veil and you don't remember your plan anymore. So
Mhm.
when I sit with you, it creates like an unlocking back to your plan. So I tell you things, and I always say it feels like a remembrance because I don't know how else to put it. It's like I tell you things that you already know, but you don't know where you know them from. So I'll sit with you and I'll say, you're really like this. And people will start to cry because nobody's ever said that to them. And they're like, oh my goodness, that's my soul. That's true. It's
Mhm.
inside of me. And the thing is that it's not like I'm telling you something that you don't know. I'm telling you something that you know so deep you forgot, you know? And
Yes.
when I remind you, it's like I gave you the keys back to your life. So you walk away going, I am this person I thought I was, and I do have these abilities and I can have this good life. So yeah, it's a really special thing.
That
Really.
is really special, and you have such a good way of explaining that, because I think for me, a lot of what you said is sort of how my clients feel when I do a spirit portrait for them. But it's
Yeah.
hard to put that into words sometimes because you
Yeah.
can see somebody physically sort of respond to through tears or through laughter, something that they already knew but hadn't given themselves permission to look at, or hadn't given themselves the ability to see themselves that way, or whatever it is. But there's some sort of transformation that happens when you can reconnect someone back to their spirit in some way. You
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
connect that line there. So I think that's so powerful. And it's one of those things that that is hard to put on a business card for somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
It is. It really is. Yeah. It took me years to be able to explain it,
yeah.
to explain it the right way, like the way it really is. And I'm still
Hmm.
always going to be working on that, because I want to tell you in the shortest amount of time the most benefits it has, because it's amazing. It really is amazing. And
Yeah.
if you didn't experience it yet, you don't know that. So like it's really important to figure out how to say that.
Yeah.
The thing is that it doesn't just touch somebody. Like there's I've gone for like tarot readings, and I've gone for palm readings, and I've had different readings throughout my life. It's like in the moment, it's really fun. It's really this cool thing. You get some awareness. Sometimes they'll predict something in your future and it comes true. And, it's like this really cool thing. But you kind of just leave going, well, that was really cool. And sometimes it's a little more than that, but that's usually what my experience has been. This is different. This is
Yeah.
like you come and I see you, and somebody seeing you might be the first time anyone ever has. Like
Yeah.
people don't see themselves, and other people don't see them for who they really are. And one of the things I love is like when a husband and wife comes to me and they're having trouble and they don't know why they're having trouble. And, the husband might say, oh, this is the problem. And the wife might say, this is the problem. Well, as soon as I look at your numbers, I know exactly what the problem is.
Mm. Okay.
She needs nurture, or usually he needs nurturing. and she either doesn't have it or isn't giving it. Like maybe that'll be the problem. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons, but that'll be a typical scenario where it's like he's dying to be held and loved and seen, but then he doesn't know how to express his voice to tell her that. So he's like doing everything that he can physically,
Mm-hmm.
like taking out the trash and hugging her and whatever the heck he does, and she's not seeing that because that's not how she receives love, so she
Right.
thinks he's not giving her what she needs and she's not giving him what he needs, but neither one know how to say what they need. They just say what they think they need,
Yeah.
and so when you look at their numbers, you see it so clearly. You go, oh, he just needs to be held more. Like he needs to be seen more. You need to match his effort there. And she needs more security from him, because he's pulling away because he doesn't feel seen and heard and loved,
Yeah.
and as soon as you tell them this is how he operates and this is how you operate, and if you just do a little more of this and he does a little more of that, their entire relationship turns around completely.
Oh, I love that. It's like
Yeah,
an instant shift.
it
So
is
when
instant. Yeah.
I love that. So for me, when I read somebody's energy and I see where they dwell in their chakras, each color for me holds the same sort of emotional, physical, or spiritual sort of, like, I'll call it a challenge or a block. When you look
Okay.
at the numbers, if I have a number 4 in my birth date and my sister has a number 4, do the fours mean the same for each of us, or do they hold different impact depending on what other numbers they're with?
Yeah. So the 4 itself will mean certain things by itself. Okay. It'll mean that for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
But then there's like, I used to say there's a good side and a bad side of each number. You
Uh-huh.
living in the good side or living in the bad side. Um, but I don't really say that as much anymore because it's really much deeper than that now, like I realize, So really your 4 may be offset by your 1, and her 4 might be offset by her 5. And so the combination of that combination happening, like the result of that combination happening is going to affect you both differently, like how you're looking at the world. And the fact that you're saying, I'm looking at your chart and you don't have a 4, but the fact that you're saying, you like, just as an example, you're like, well, say I have a 4 and say my sister has a 4. That's very commonly what you will see. You will see a whole family. If you do a whole family and your friends and your husband and your kids, you do everybody on one page, what you will see is that everybody has the same theme. You're just all
Oh,
doing it a little bit differently. And that's how you're teaching each other how to complete the goals that you came here for. It's
like your
really
soul group
cool.
that
Yes,
you're
it's
with.
your soul group. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that was
Awesome.
a
Well,
perfect example of how it really works.
that's really
Yeah.
cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Well, I know I gave you my birth date. Are
And I
you
would love to tell you about it.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I wrote it down. I have it in a chart. The very first, so I always say what stands out first. Okay. So the very first thing that stands out to me is that you're the visionary. Someone who's a visionary is someone who sees the future. And I always say has the gumption, which I don't love that word, but it's the right word. It's someone who sees the future but has the gumption to make it happen, So like you're somebody who is um very independent, very motivated, very determined. You're like a force of your own. You're somebody who is in a forward motion with goals to accomplish. And you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep doing this and I'm going to do it till it works. Now, something I learned when I was teaching my first numerology class, one of my students and then several of my students after that said, I've noticed that how I write the numbers means something, which I never looked at before I taught it. Okay. That has changed everything. So when I look at your 1 is kind of sinking down a little bit. your one is your independence, and your one is your leadership abilities, and your one is your standing proud in your life, you know? So it's sinking down a little bit and it's saying, I'm a little bit scared. Like, I'm a little scared. I'm not really sure I know what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best, you know? And it looks like your confidence is like a little bit down, you know?
Yeah.
And
I'm
then that,
nodding. I'm nodding. They won't be able to see us, but I'm
yeah, yeah.
yes, I'm agreeing with everything you've said so far.
Yeah. So then I look at your 9, and your 9 is standing proud. Like your 9 is like straight up going, I'm here, I'm present, I'm good. And your 9 is telling me, um, I have this vision and I am so serious about it. I'm so passionate about it. And everything I'm doing is about this. And I am living for this vision, you know? And then your 1 kind of chimes in and goes, well, um, we need to get a little bit more on board with the action we're taking around this vision, you know? So, and
True.
really the 1 wants you to clarify. Like that's what I'm actually now hearing from the spirit guides. So the 1 is saying, please clarify what I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
like the 9 knows what it's doing. The 1 needs the definition around it. It needs the structure. So 1 is all about structure. It's all about plans, and it's all about motivation with those plans, you know. So you take those 2 together and they make a great force, you know. They make you an incredible force, okay? And they say, I'm going to do great things, you know. And but that 1 is still saying, I need some help, you know, like I need to know exactly what the structure is, the container that we're doing this from, because the 1 can't move without plans, you know. So
Yeah.
and it's not about planning or controlling other people or any of that. It's only about you, and it's only about your stuff, you know. That this number doesn't control anybody but you know. So
Okay.
um, so that's what that's talking about. And then I told you a little bit before we started that the 9 has passion, okay? The 9 is all about passion. The 9 is all about um it's like getting obsessed with what you love, you know, like it's like you can't stop if you wanted to, and then that 1 puts you in motion with it, you know. So that's how they combine like that. And then the 9 is also about the future. The 9 is your third eye chakra. It's your psychic ability. It means you have a lot of psychic ability. It means that you know how to tap into that psychic ability. The one thing I see with 9s that is difficult for me because I don't have a 9. So the one thing that's difficult is that you were born with a lot of psychic ability. So like you were born knowing things that other people don't know. And I have 3 daughters that way that have a lot of psychic ability, and I don't. Like I wasn't born that way, although we all have the ability to tap into that. And obviously I'm the example of that. See, because I've learned my psychic abilities, I've like developed them and grown them. I recognize them. Like I can tell the difference because I didn't have them to start. Because you've had them to start, you might not even know that you have a lot of them. Like you might not even realize because you're just like, this is my normal, you know?
Mhm.
So when you have it so naturally, it's like, it's a gift, of course, but it's a gift in exploring what is typical. What do people typically have, and where am I different, you know? And then learning that difference actually is where your edge is, you know. It's like I have these abilities and I have like to the moon where I can
Mm.
develop them, you know. Like I have all the possibilities of developing them, but they're already turned on, you know. And
Yeah.
it's a matter of picking and choosing which ones you like, you know. But yeah, your abilities are one of your driving forces, like your psychic abilities, because you're so tapped in. Like you're tapped into the other side, you're tapped into knowledge, you're tapped into anything that you want to be tapped into, you know. You also have so the 1 is the crown chakra.
Okay.
So you're working with you're working with source energy. So that would be like God, the higher power, your higher self, the angels. It's that all that energy, whatever you believe that energy to be. You channel white light energy through your head and you bring that down into your body. And that's actually where you're working from. You're working with that light, you know?
Wow, cool.
And that is actually why, that is probably why people like your artwork, you know, because they can feel that divine energy in it because you're channeling it through you that way, you
I
know?
love that. Yeah. Thank you. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
of course, of course. You have a lot more if you want me to tell you some
I would
more.
love to. Yeah, if it's okay.
Okay, so those are your gifts. Those are the great, beautiful, wonderful, happy things, you know.
Hmm.
Then you have some, and you have more happy things, don't worry. But then you have some challenges, you know, which is normal. Like we
Yeah.
always bring challenges to actually move us into those happier things and into our gifts, you know. So then I look at, you know, you've got these double eights, okay? An 8 is a really hard number. It doesn't have to be a really hard number, but it typically is a hard number to begin with. And then you move out of that into turning it around into a really great number. Okay. And I can usually feel into that to see, you know, how much of that you're doing, like how far you're getting on that. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so when I first look at it, I go, "Oh, she's got some trauma," you know, like that's my first thing is I go, "Oh, she's been through a lot," you know. And don't worry, you're not alone. I actually have the same number. I have it a different way, but I have the same.
Okay.
Um, so it says, you know, so the 8 is all about, it's the poverty number. Okay. Like it's the poverty number. It doesn't mean you're going to live in poverty. That's just the number that it is. It's also the humanitarian. So you are a humanitarian. You care very, very, very much about people. Uh,
Hmm.
you are here because you want to help people and you want people to do better and you don't like the suffering of the world. So like the humanitarian is really the one that feels the heartbeat of the world. Like they feel the heartbeat of humanity technically. And and so you have this very strong connection to the heartbeat of humanity. So I always say, like, if you see a homeless person, it's not like somebody else seeing a homeless person. When you see that, your heart breaks for them. Like, it's not just that you want to help them, it's that you want to get out of your car, sit on the ground with them, and give them your shirt. You know, you're like, can we trade lives? Because I just don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to suffer. And this is a beautiful number. It makes you a very beautiful person. It makes you somebody who is so completely authentically you. You couldn't be someone else if you wanted to be. You're not a pretender, you're not a liar. You're somebody who will completely stay in your path, you know, because you really deeply care about that. You know, you care about being a good person and doing things right and all of that. It's also the number of it's the number of change, you know, like if you turn an 8 sideways, it's the infinity number, you know, which is a number of patterns. So you can get very stuck in patterns. You are someone who definitely struggles with patterns. Um, but more than that, and this is something that might help you, is that you are a pattern breaker. You're not just a pattern keeper. Okay. So, like, what's amazing about being stuck in patterns is that you are somebody that once you recognize your patterns, you will attempt to change them. And once you do change them, they actually change forever. So, like, you're not the type of person that would, you know, have this really hard thing happen and then have it happen again and have it happen again and have it happen again and then not recognize it and not change it. Like you will, like, a good example is smoking. Okay. I always use this because I used to smoke when I was younger. Okay. And I have a strong 8 just like you do. Okay. Um, I smoked for years and I could not stop because I was addicted to it. I did not know how to stop. I tried every different way. I even got hypnotized. I did all the things, you know, and I could not stop. Okay. And then I had something happen in my life where it felt like a life or death moment. And I made a promise to God, and I said, I will never smoke another cigarette. It was actually my fiance. He was sick. And the doctor said, there's bile in his urine, there's bile in his saliva. Just take him home and make him comfortable. He's probably not going to make it much longer.
Oh, wow.
And I did not know that he was sick. I mean, I could tell he was sick, but I did not know it was that serious until we were at the hospital. And I left the room crying after that happened. And I went outside and I smoked a cigarette. And I said to God, I said, if you just give us one more good day, I will never smoke again. Now I learned some things by doing that. Okay. First of all, God does not shake on it, so there's nobody saying, hey, I'm in it too with you. You just have
Yeah.
to trust that. Which I did not at the time. I was not a very trusting individual at that age. But I went back in his room and I went home that night and I smoked my last cigarette that night. And I said, I hope you're in this with me, because I don't know how to take a bet back on God. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I made a deal with someone that I can't say, hey, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, why did I promise that? Because I can't quit this. I've been trying for years. Like, what am I doing? But I never smoked another cigarette again. It was
Wow.
like it got taken away from me overnight. And I think it was because of my conviction, and my strong belief system. I do
Yeah.
believe in God, but not just that. You don't have to. It was like I made a declaration. I said, this is more important than that, and that is the true nature of the eight. Okay, like the eight is like this pattern that you get stuck in. So like I was so stuck in not being able to quit and trying everything I wanted and not being able to do it, not having the willpower, not having the conviction, and then something catastrophic happened, and I was like, okay, well, I don't need that, but it wasn't just me. I mean, I made that pact and I do think that God helped me. Uh,
Yeah.
but I never even wanted another cigarette. Like I woke up the
Wow.
next day and didn't even want it. And my boyfriend did get better. He was my fiance. He did get better. And we did have lots more good days. I unfortunately found out he had a drug problem, and that's actually what was happening.
Okay. Yeah.
But I left him right after that. But either way, I mean, that's how I broke my pattern,
Wow. Yeah.
and you don't always need something that big to break a pattern, but that's a good example. It's like I know now, I mean, this was a lot of years ago now, but like I know now that I would never pick up another cigarette. I would never ever do that. You're like that too with everything though.
Mm.
It's like you'll make a mistake and you'll make it over again and over again and over again, but then you'll recognize one day, I'm making this mistake, and then you'll attempt to fix it. Just like I did with smoking. I was like,
Yeah.
I tried everything and I couldn't do it. And then something came finally that was like, okay, I mean it. I'm going to stop. And then I did, and then it never ever happened again. And so
Wow.
you're that way with your issue, with anything that you struggle with as well.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me. It really
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I usually use a different example, but a much milder example. But this is also one of my good examples. But yeah, so it's the number of patterns, but it's so important to know that you are a breaker of those patterns. You're not a victim to those patterns, because the eight can kind of go into victim mentality
Hmm.
because life is so hard, because they feel the heartbeat of humanity. They feel the heaviness of the world. They're the ones that work for everything that they have, and nothing's ever handed to them. So like everything that you have is hard earned. Um,
Hmm.
but you value it more because of that, and it's good because of that. It's like you have pride in yourself because of that. um the eight is kind of tricky though, because it'll play games with you a little bit. Like it'll always test you, and it'll always be like, are you sure you believe? Are you sure that you're confident? Are you sure you know yourself? It'll take you into imposter syndrome a lot. And so the eight is the number of self-worth. So it's all about the enoughs. Like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not educated enough. I'm not, who am I to teach you? You know, who am I to take money from you? Who am I? You know,
Yeah.
that's the theme of the eight, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So so something about the eight though is that when you get to the other side of it, it actually turns into the master manifester. So as much as it can keep you in suffering, it can actually take you right out of it as well. Like it is like the most transformative number in your chart, in any chart, because it's the hardest one. So it's also the best one because when you turn it around, it's like everything works, you know. Living
Mhm.
the hard parts of it, it's like it keeps coming at you in a way. But it's really just testing you. It's testing your willpower, it's testing your conviction, it's testing how much do you believe in yourself? How willing are you to love yourself and to admire yourself and to honor yourself? How much do you care, you know?
Yeah.
And it's going to keep asking you that. It's also the number of so like eights are people who come to change things, like to stir things up in the family. It's you're here to clear generational trauma from your family. And so that doesn't make everybody that doesn't make everybody comfortable, okay? That makes everybody very uncomfortable,
Hmm.
actually, especially your parents usually or your grandparents, because you basically come into this world and you look around your family and you go, I see how it's all been done. Okay. We're not doing that anymore, you know, and you're like, it stops with me, you know, and so it does make people very uncomfortable. And it does kind of make your life harder because you're not as accepted, you know, because you aren't willing to just go with the flow and let, you know, crap continue that shouldn't, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but it also makes you the person that changes everything. Like you're the one that comes and makes it better because of that, you know.
Yeah.
Even though it's harder in the moment, it's like the results are better. And that's one of your big goals for this life. Like you're here to do that for your family. You're, like that's your gift that you're giving them. Like your whole legacy will be, you know, built on that fact that you came here to make it all better and to change it. And the reason that you're doing that in this life is because you're on your last life. So after this life you're going to ascend, and then when you ascend you basically go to, you're complete then with the human experience. You understand all the aspects of what it is to be human, and then now you're ready to go on to whatever the next level of learning is, as soon as the rest of your soul tribe is ready too, you know. So you might have to wait a little while, but you're ready, you know, like you're almost ready. Another
Wow.
another very strong focus that you have is you have a very strong nature focus. So you really, really, really care about nature and you really care about the planet. And there's something in you that like whenever you're not okay, you need to go into nature. You know, like
Hmm.
that will heal you and bring you back to who you are. But you have a very strong like your life purpose is even about nature. It's like to be one with nature and to understand it. This could be the birds, the trees, the ocean, you know, it could be all of that. I mean,
Hmm.
really, honestly, it's all of that. Like, because I keep feeling into it going, is it the birds? They're like, yes. Is it the animals? Yes. Is it the trees? Yes. So it's all of it.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I'm fascinated by. I mean, I turned my desk so I could look out my window to see the trees and the birds, and there are bees and butterflies like flying by my window all day long. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah, very connected to nature.
If you could actually work in nature, that would be best.
Oh
Like,
yeah, on the days I could work outside, I'll
yeah.
work on the porch. Yeah.
Yes. Because you have a very strong calling to that, and you have a very strong connection to that as well. So like it's almost like nature speaks to you more than people do. You
Oh
know,
wow.
you have a really solid balance actually, that you're very much the humanitarian and you're very much into the nature, you know, like the activist and all of that. You could be an activist if you wanted to be.
Mhm.
You would feel a strong calling for that if that
Yep.
was the direction you end up. You know, at all in any point, like you can do that and what you're doing now, you know.
Mhm.
But you have this like connection that is different than other people. Like when I'm seeing you, I'm seeing, so like I see visions when I do this work. The guide, your spirit guides and my spirit guides, they show me visions about you in the present moment. And what they're showing me is you sitting in a chair in the yard. I don't know where you're sitting, but you're sitting in like a grassy area, okay? And it's pretty open and the sun is shining and there's a tree somewhere that's pretty tall. And the wind is going by. And as the wind is going by, it's almost like you're connected to it, and it's bringing you all of your wisdom. Like the wind is actually kind of circling you, giving you wisdom. And and then like you're looking at nature and you're just you get consumed with it. It's almost like a meditative state, just
Mhm.
watching the wind come and the flowers move, and it's speaking to you. Like what they're showing me is that nature is speaking to you. It's not just you don't just love it, you're connected to it,
Oh,
like in a
wow.
different way than other people, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
um it's not a typical connection, you know. It's like you're one with it, but you have to be out there for a little bit. And I think that's what they're showing me. They're showing me that you have to really submerge yourself in nature, and it takes a little bit. It's like a meditative state. It's like you can't just like go set up a chair outside and sit there and work and, you know, think about your work. Sit there with your work and let the nature come. Like nature has this way of like when you're first, like you can go up into the woods, and when you first get up there, you will sit there, and it's almost scary because you don't know anything around you yet, you know, and you don't know if you're safe, and you don't know what sees you, you know. And at first you have this like uneasy feeling, okay, but then you're there for a few minutes, and all of a sudden you start hearing the leaves move, and then you start hearing the birds chirping, and then you start hearing the squirrels, and then the nature starts coming toward you because it starts trusting you. Like it starts reaching out to you. That's when you start entering a meditative state, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
And that's when you start becoming one with nature. And that's when you want to pick up your work, you know,
Okay.
like you want to kind of sit there until it invites you to sit with it, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you're having that true connection. And then when you're doing your work, like say you're painting or something, um, then they're inspiring that painting, you know, with you know, because then
Oh,
it's
I love that.
collaboration. Yeah.
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 Oh,
That's what your
that's
guides are talking about.
oh,
So,
that's so interesting. I'm gonna have to try that. I actually have an outdoor easel that I thrifted, and my husband found it and he was like, "Do you want this easel?" And I was like, "I don't ever paint outside though, because my studio's inside."
yeah.
And I was just looking at it the other day and I'm like, "Should I take this outside?"
You should. You
Yes.
absolutely should.
Take it outside.
Yes. Yes.
Tammy, that is wild. That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Thank you.
course. Of course. Yeah. So, yeah, you have a really great chart. You have a lot of like just really great goals, and um, you know, you're really here in this lifetime to you're here to like make an impact. You're here to you know, not necessarily put your name all over things, you know, where there's nothing wrong with that, but like
Hmm.
but it's not really your purpose. Like your purpose is really like I want to touch as many things as I can. I want to leave goodness everywhere I go. Like, you know, like they have this saying, like, leave glitter wherever you go, or whatever. I
Yeah.
like some meme. You have that like true purpose where you're like, I just want it to sparkle when I left, you know,
Hmm.
like I just want people to feel better because I was here. And I just want the world to lighten up, you know, like to feel better and to look better and for people to be happier. And so your goal is always that. Like you're like, I just want this place to be better, you know?
Yeah, it's
So
true.
and that's what you're working on. That's your big strong thing, you know?
Oh, I love that so much. That's so true, right? Because
Yeah.
art is something that you put in places to help it, feel better, to brighten it up. And I think my work is meant to be in spaces where there have been traumas or where there has been pain, and it's meant to help heal those spaces and the people who get to see it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
one of your strong desires is I felt suffering. I don't want you to feel it too. It's almost like let me lift that for you
Yeah.
because I don't want you to even touch it. I would rather carry it away from here.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that is so well. I hope that the listeners have gotten a good sense of
Yeah.
what a reading would be like with you
Yeah.
because that is powerful. There's a lot of power in that and everything that you said just resonated with me at a very very deep level. I could feel chills running down my body and when you said certain things and I was like, "Oh, when I get chills like that, that's like an affirmation or confirmation for me that like that is on point." And so
Yeah.
you have a gift, my friend. That
Thank
is
you.
beautiful. Well, I
I
would
mean,
love to reciprocate and do a spirit portrait for you at some point. We don't have to do that here today, but I did want to share with you the colors that I've seen around you while you've been talking.
yes,
Um,
love
and then
that.
I'll do a full spirit portrait session with you
That'd be awesome.
after. But you are glowing with yellow and green today. You know colors too, so yellow is associated with our solar plexus chakra. That is one of the chakras of the physical body. It sits between our hearts and our belly buttons. Yellow, for me, is all about our sense of identity, our connection to our ego, our sense of self-worth, our sense of confidence and optimism. And so you're sort of emanating this yellow glow, which to me means that there's some sort of identity shift that you're going through at this point, where you're starting to look at yourself in a different way, and you're noticing that people are looking at you in a different way, and it's sort of you trying to reconcile how you want to be seen in the world and how you would prefer to sort of leave a certain impression on people when you meet them. But it's also you sort of trying to step into this place of confidence where I'm seeing the yellow and the green. So the heart and the solar plexus together are sort of you're dwelling in this space where the heart is all about there are two colors of the heart, green and pink. Green is about the self, and pink is about the higher love. So I'm seeing green with you, which is all about self love, self compassion, self acceptance, and forgiveness. And so emanating that green is about you trying to reconcile in your heart different emotions or feelings that are affecting how you feel about yourself and vice versa. And so your heart and your solar plexus are both sort of like they're kind of moving like a wave, like you're trying to go with the flow right now, but they're both sort of trying to, I want to, they're not competing with each other, but they're trying to find alignment with each other right now.
That makes sense. That's exactly what I'm feeling right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
You've got a little bit of yellow coming out of your throat too. So that to me is about you speaking about your changing identity. So that's about putting out the energy of this shift and speaking it into fruition by allowing the truth of your throat to reflect how you're now moving about the world with this changing perception of yourself.
Yeah, that's great. That is exactly what I'm doing right now. I am shifting and I'm asking myself a lot like who are you and who do you want to be and it is a lot about being how I'm being perceived and really noticing that like noticing how people look at me that are outside of me
Mhm.
and how they really feel and not
Mhm.
how I thought they felt in a way, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to realize that I have not been perceived the way that I want to be. And
Mm,
so I really have taken action the last few days actually to change that, like to change that entire thing because I don't like that narrative, you know?
mm.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that would definitely activate your identity in your throat to move it to a place where you are now like putting it out there.
Yeah.
And I think your heart is sort of trying to reconcile what it means. Like whenever you go through any kind of transformation, you're sort of having to find new ways of like loving yourself again. I know that sounds a little bit odd, but if something changes in your life, your whole perspective changes and you kind of have to go, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I gotta sort of settle into this new space. And you have to sort of develop this like this love bubble around it, to go, okay, it is what it is. I'm gonna move forward. And here we go. I'm just gonna try to find a place of peace about it.
Yeah, I mean I would say that is so accurate because I do feel this like self-worth thing, like where I'm like, am I willing to love me no matter what? Like, am I willing to believe in me even if nobody else does not, like nobody else does? Am I willing to step into the me that I know that I can be? Or am I going to cave and be the me that everyone thinks I still am? Or maybe I never was. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've made a lot of declarations recently where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with being perceived wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm ready to show people that I'm not who they thought. I'm not good or bad what they thought.
Yeah.
I'm something totally different, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready to be the confident winner, the confident one that thrives and makes life work,
Yeah.
and doesn't you know be so I used to change who I was depending on how people perceived me. It
Uh-huh.
was like if they thought I was amazing, I would be more amazing. If they thought I was crap, I would be more crap. I don't know why, but it was like I would just change based on their perception. And I think lately I'm asking myself, well, is that valid anymore? Because
Mm.
I never liked that anyway. So I
Yeah.
don't want to be like that. Like
Yeah.
I really want is I want to declare who I am and have people accept that or not, and that's really what I'm stepping into.
Yeah. That explains a lot then why there's yellow in your throat because
Yeah.
you want to proclaim that new sense of identity.
Mhm.
Um, and to let people know it. The other thing I would say for you is that there are colors you can work with as you're going through this sort of shift that'll help sort of calm the energy down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think the two prescriptive colors for you are going to be blues and pinks. So the blue is going to help to soften and cool things down. That'll help it ease into like a gentle space where you can sort of like nurture your sense of identity through this transition of becoming. And then that pink is really about the helping to support the heart, but also helping to support your crown, that higher love energy that is always around you, that is always offering you acceptance, like infinite love and unconditional love in
Mhm.
everything. And so those two colors, you can eat them, wear them, meditate with them.
Yeah.
If pink's not your color, you can like put a piece of pink construction paper, somewhere where you'll see it. But just to sort of let that color minister to you as a reminder that you are deeply loved, deeply cared for, and deeply accepted, no matter
Yeah.
what's going on in your life.
What's funny is that I've always known that like pink and green are the heart colors, because I'm really into crystals and all that. But whenever I normally think of my heart chakra, it's always pink.
Mhm.
And whenever I fill myself up with that universal love, like God's love and all of that, it's always pink. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny that you say the green today because I do feel so different lately. Like I really do feel like I'm stepping into something different, because it's almost like I know I'm well supported. I know that the the forces that be. I know that like source energy loves me. I know that my spirit guides are with me. I know that I'm divinely guided in all the ways by the guides. Like I know that, I feel that. It's like I have a team with me. I can feel them, I know that my loved ones on the other side are with me. I know things like that, okay? But the humans here on Earth, I'm really questioning now. And I
Yeah.
really don't understand. I feel like they're all lost. Not all of them, but
I can relate. I can relate.
so I really did shift into a different like awareness, like where I'm going, I don't really know what to do with this part. Like
Yeah.
it's like I used to not know what to do with the spiritual part, but I've gained so much understanding and acceptance over their role in my life. But then I look around at the actual humans in my life and I'm going, I don't know that they all have my best interest, and I don't
Mm,
know that they're all on my side, and I don't know if I want them to be, even if they are. Like I
mhm.
don't even know if they're the humans I want to be on my side, even if they are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm really shifting. And you know, um I know I didn't say that. I know I didn't say it, live while we've been recording, but I told you earlier that I've gone through a lot of loss lately. And
Mhm.
um loss is so beautiful when humans transition to the other side, okay? And you're left with, well, now I have to pick up all these pieces of like this relationship that, maybe was good, maybe was difficult, maybe was whatever. You have to now sort your feelings about everything. You kind of have to, it's like the time that you actually think about it and you go, well, who was I to this person, and who were they to me, and how does life go on now that with their absence. Not that they actually leave, but they come in a different way now.
Yeah.
um and you sit there and you really think about it then, and when you do that, it's kind of like you reprioritize things, and it's really amazing because it gives you a different perspective in the world then, because you're now looking at it through a lens of, I mean, love, really.
Yeah.
Like you really just, all of the hurt feelings and all the pain kind of like don't matter the same anymore.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at them with love, and you're looking at your experiences with love, and you kind of have a better perspective, or at least I.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's totally true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This has been such a good conversation. I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Um, I want to be cognizant of your time too. So how can people work with you? Where can they find you? How can they work with you to have a reading like you did for me? That was amazing.
Of course. Well, they can go to my website, which is TamiLoPresti.com. I know that's not easy to spell, but I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes.
I will.
And you can find me on any social media. I'm not present, a lot on some of them. I'm very present on Facebook, but I'm working on being more present in the other places now too. But you can find me as Tami LoPresti numerologist pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
And if you look up numerology, hopefully my name will come up. That is my goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah, but yeah, and I would love to
Awesome.
do. I love to do numbers. I live this work. I really do.
Yeah, you really do. I can tell. It comes so naturally to you. You tapped in on so many accurate aspects of me. And that's really amazing. So thank you for doing that. I
Of
appreciate it.
course. And there's probably 100 more things I could tell you.
I was going to say there's probably so much more.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for joining us on Your Radiant Spirit. If today's episode lit up your creativity or helped you connect with your inner energy, please leave us a review and share your thoughts. Your feedback helps us spread more light to others. To dive deeper, visit www.heathereck.com for courses, workshops, and custom spirit portraits. And for daily inspiration and behind-the-scenes magic, follow Heather on Instagram at @HeatherEckArtist. Your radiant spirit is calling. Take the next step on your journey. See you next time.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.